Hi, I'm John Mallos. Welcome to this live edition of Connect with Me on the showroom floor at Ventura TV on this Tuesday morning. Today we're talking about the San Joaquin River Parkway. 436 MeTV option 11. Two board members in the House today. When will it be completed? It's a 22-mile stretch. That's the $64,000 question. Connect with Me starts right now.
Tonight I want to discuss the importance of the television medium to the American people.
All right, back here on the program, it is a community day here on the program. Connect with Me on MeTV Fresno. So much to talk about here with our two guests. Actually, these two guests are first-time guests here on Connect with Me on MeTV Fresno. And a couple of programming notes. Tomorrow, we got Ruthie Quinto in here. She's going to talk on behalf of the Fresno Unified School District, because there is a strike looming. A third party's coming in on November 6th and 7th, I believe, to try to offer up a recommendation. Whether or not the two sides will accept that recommendation remains to be seen, and it remains to be seen whether or not there will be a strike. The last time there was a strike, way back in 1978, they were out for the better part of 8 days, I believe, and so we'll see what happens there. Then on Thursday, Peter Nazaridian will be in. On Friday, Becky Cinema. And guess what? On Monday, we have a special guest. Alex Delgado from KC24 is going to be here to talk about her program over there in the afternoons. Watch that one if you get a chance at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. For now, you're watching us live on Comcast Channel 375. It is Comcast Cable TV, 10 to 11 o'clock in the morning. It's a live call-in program. It's 436 MeTV option 11. But if you don't have Comcast Cable, it's no problem. 43.6 and 13.1 over the air if you have an outdoor digital antenna. Then you can catch the replay over-the-air broadcast as well, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That station is 13.6 U2, 8 o'clock tonight, 4.6 Biz TV. After that, you can go to venturabroadcasting.com and see all of our other shows on that website, as long as you hit the button that says Connect with Me, and all the shows will apparently, I suppose, they'll come up, as long as you have no problems with your internet service at that time. But for now, you're watching us live on cable television. Before we get into the program tonight, I do want to mention just briefly, because there's so many Dodger fans here in the Central Valley, it seems they outnumber Giant fans by more than 2 to 1. So the Dodgers, for the first time in 29 years, there is a villain this year in the World Series, a major villain. You know who that villain is? It's the Dodgers. And the Houston Astros, I think, are the only team that have a chance to beat the villains from L.A. Anyway, it's been 29 years since the Dodgers have been in the World Series. I imagine a lot of people just went just like this. They're watching the program. They just went, click. He's a Dodger hater. I'm a Giants fan. Anyway, so tonight, game 1 from Dodger Stadium, and it's going to be over 100 degrees in L.A. today. All right, on to our program. It's the second longest running river in the entire state of California. Check it out, my friends. It goes for 333 miles. It provides enough drinking water. You can do enough fishing trips to last a lifetime, enough watering of the crops, enough recreation, boating, kayaking. It's a long river, my friends. Roll the videotape, show you what I'm talking about. This past winter, of course, plenty of rain, much more than we expected, which means there was flooding up and down that river. As you see here, many trees, bushes destroyed along the river, a lot of destruction. Many were concerned about the damage done to the levees, none more than who make up the San Joaquin River Conservancy. That's a government agency created to develop and manage the San Joaquin River Parkway. What's that, you ask? Well, it's a group of people from all walks of life who want to develop the river bottom and the land. And they want to try to build parks, trails along a 22-mile stretch from Friant Dam to Highway 99. This is all flooding from earlier this year, as you see. But it's been 30 years, and only a couple of miles have been developed. A 1-mile stretch of trails from the Fish Hatchery to Lost Lake Park, another 1-mile stretch from Woodward Park to the river. So what's taking so long? What's the problem? What's the holdup? Is it money? The San Joaquin River Conservancy is holding about $30 million in government money, and so far they're not sharing it with those who are part of the San Joaquin River Park Trust. Keep in mind, those are two different organizations. One is a government agency, the other is a private nonprofit. Also, right now, there's the issue of what to do about the Spano project. That is a huge piece of land along Highway 41 between Palm and Nees. 11 years in the making, still nothing. The issue is how to access the property. Nearby neighbors, they don't want a lot of traffic, and they don't want the nightmare going through their neighborhood to get to that developed project if it ever is and becomes developed. You're looking at flooded out areas here along the river this past January and February. Live in our studio now is Coke Hallowell. She is one of 20 board members for the San Joaquin River Parkway Trust. And sitting beside her is Susan Anderson, former Fresno County Supervisor, who is also part of the board, the San Joaquin River Parkway Trust. Is it all too confusing for you? It is for me too. That's why we're here. That's why we've got our two board members here to try to clear up what's going on with the San Joaquin River Parkway. And you can join the conversation. Their first-time guests, 436-ME-TV, option 11. We're back with our program in just a moment.
When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Whirlpool appliances we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start. But you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Touch the new Whirlpool Ice Collection. It offers a modern style made to create an inspiring kitchen experience. Save big on this Whirlpool Black Ice or White Ice kitchen. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
Not sure what you're watching? Want to see what's coming up next? Or just want to browse what's on without the hassle of flipping channels? Your wish has come true. Now you can view schedules for all the digital TV channels available in the Central Valley. Get local weather updates and forecasts, and listen to nationally syndicated Biz Talk Radio, all on KVHF 4.1. Rescan your TV now, then tune in to digital channel 4.1 to start enjoying the all-new TV guide.
All right, back here with our guests, Coke Hallowell and Susan Anderson. Welcome to the program. How are you?
Great to be here.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, I'm glad you're here. So this is a very convoluted issue. A lot of people at home are probably sitting there shaking their heads. What did he just say in his monologue? So there is this San Joaquin River Conservancy, which is a government-run agency. Am I right about that?
It's a state agency.
It's a state agency.
So that is government-run, yes.
Okay. And then you have the San Joaquin River Parkway Trust. Okay. What is that?
The trust is a nonprofit organization, and actually the trust was formed first, and then the Conservancy was formed about 4 years later. Around, I think the trust was formed in 1988. The Conservancy was 1992, I believe. And the trust and the Conservancy work hand in hand. We have a partnership. We have a good relationship with the agency. I served on the Conservancy, the state agency, for 12 years when I was on the Board of Supervisors, and now I retired from the Board of Supervisors, and now I serve on the trust.
Yeah.
Because I just believe in this parkway. I think it really is such an important amenity for this community, and someday it will be the thing that makes what people will say, why live in Fresno? Because of the San Joaquin River Parkway. It's going to be so important for the future.
Okay, a lot of people might be asking, okay, I also mentioned in the monologue, it's been like 30 years now. You guys are celebrating 30 years for the Parkway. Now, you said the Parkway Trust was developed first.
It was formed first as a nonprofit, a group of people in the community who wanted to see this parkway come to fruition.
Okay, and so people are wondering, okay, why is it taking so long? 30 years in the making, and it's still not done. 22 miles, you want to develop what? Trails?
Right. It's 11 miles on each side of the river. So the Fresno side and the Madera side.
22 miles altogether.
Total. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 11
so
miles.
A continuous trail connecting parks and different pieces of it.
So there'll be parks, trails, what else? Recreation areas?
Boat launch areas, which we already have some. Some. So an opportunity for people to enjoy the nightlife, the outside life, and
it could be nightlife too.
Could be
outside.
nightlife, yeah. to enjoy the river, to learn about the creatures that are there, and the natural habitat, and it's educational. It has so much to offer for children and families.
All right. So it's money? Is that why it's not being done?
Partially. I'd say partially.
Okay, what else?
Because,
You got as much time as you want, by the way.
okay. Well, if we build a trail, we cannot open it to the public unless we can do the operations and maintenance. And that means funds. So until we have the funds to operate and maintain that trail, we can have it sitting there looking pretty, but we can't use it.
Which means the restrooms and picking up trash, emptying trash cans.
It's
security.
kind of like building a house. You have to maintain it.
Right.
You can build a house, but if you just let it sit there, it's not being used because you can't maintain it. It's kind of the same idea, same theory.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's like having a park. I mean, if you have a city park, you have to have people do maintenance. You have to have the restrooms cleaned, trash cans emptied,
Right.
security, make sure there's no vandalism, things like that.
Okay, I also mentioned that the San Joaquin River Conservancy has all this money, but they're not sharing it with you guys. Why not? Explain what's going on there with that government money.
Well,
why aren't they sharing it so you guys can complete this trail? I mean,
Well, the
30
Conservancy
years.
has shared a lot of money over the years, and they've bought a lot of land. Their job is really to buy the land,
From the
secure
private
land.
owners,
From
right?
private owners, from willing sellers. It's always
Right.
been willing sellers.
Right.
So it's sometimes, a matter of putting together a number of pieces of property and buying them or partial donations. A lot of people have given partial donations of their land. So it's complicated.
Right, right. And so, so what are you going to do now? I mean, what's the alternative? You're sitting and waiting for this money and waiting for. Has all the property been bought up?
Oh, no. There's still pieces that we'd love to acquire.
Okay. How many
And-
pieces would you say,
Oh,
or
I
how many
have
plots?
no idea. Would you know?
No, I wouldn't want to say a number, but I mean, it's a lot.
There's still a
Many
lot of
Because you're
land.
talking about 22-mile stretch.
And many
but-
pieces have already been purchased, and there have been easements purchased.
right, but
So
they're
a big-
undeveloped.
They're undeveloped, but first you have to own it so you can
Yeah.
develop it, and then you have to plan it and then do the
Right.
development.
Right, but once you purchase the property, I mean, it sits there until you decide what you're going to do with it, how you're going to develop it. And if you have the funds to develop it, right, that's part of the problem.
And a lot of this property was mined, gravel mines, so it had to be basically rehabilitated or, put back with natural habitat. That has taken a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of work, and there's been a lot of work done on that. So it's not like nothing has been done. I mean, there's a 6-mile trail from Woodward Park to the River Ranch House.
Okay, I mentioned two stretches in my monologue. I mentioned only 2 miles had really been developed. Is that not true?
There's been more.
There's
There's
more.
been
I don't
more.
wanna say-
How
yeah.
much has been developed so far
Maybe-
with?
There is 1 mile that the city has done. It's called River Bottom Park, I think.
Right.
It's down by one of those golf courses, west.
Okay.
And that's just 1 mile, but I think
right.
it's pretty well used.
And there are different pieces. The part where the river camp takes place is owned by the county schools. There's the county park, Lost Lake Park, up by Friant.
Right.
Um,
I
there's-
think I mentioned that in the monologue.
Yeah, and that's actually one of the areas of the Parkway that is used by many, many people. Many families go there camping, picnicking,
Right.
and swimming. A lot,
And it's been maintained, right?
It's been it's
Yeah.
maintained by the county. So the Parkway is really going to be a partnership of the two counties, Madera and Fresno, the city of Fresno, because a lot of the areas are in the city, and the Parkway Trust and
Okay.
county schools. So there are different agencies involved.
I see.
The fish hatchery is the state fish and game is up by Friant.
Are they going to
That's-
be involved financially somehow too? or-
Well, they just built a 1 mile trail. Have you been on that, Susan?
I haven't been on that.
Oh, it's just beautiful. I recommend it. You can park, nice parking at the fish hatchery, and you get on the trail. I think it's about 1 mile, and it goes all the way to Lost Lake Park.
Okay.
So it's a nice connection. And it is called a River Parkway Trail.
Right. Right.
And then there's the boat launch up there that the Conservancy built when I was on the Conservancy. There's a really nice boat launch with parking lot up in that area. And you can walk down with your canoes or kayaks and put your boats in there.
So we have
And-
little pieces of things going on.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
meanwhile, our education program is going full blast, and it's very successful. We have thousands of kids from Madera County and Fresno Unified, who come down for historical and nature walks. And we have a staff that accommodates them.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have 2 river campsites. We have the Scout Island, which is owned, as I mentioned previously, by county schools. And then the other one, I don't know exactly where the other one is, out on the west side.
In Firebaugh.
In Firebaugh, there's a river camp.
But
hundreds of children attend this river camp and learn about the river and learn about nature.
But, okay, 11 miles on each side, 22 miles altogether. But is this going to be like a trail where you can bike, you can run?
Yes.
We hope
Will it
so.
be paved? Will it be a dirt road?
Part of it will be paved. Part of it will be more natural, like where you would ride a dirt bike on, or you could run on it.
Yeah.
It'll be a combination.
Okay.
And as the money comes available, we could probably pave more and more if it seems necessary.
Right. Okay.
But some people like the natural pieces of it. I mean, out at the River Ranch House, there's a children's trail around a little pond. It's really amazing, and it has the replicas of animal homes, and it's a very short. It's probably
Half a mile,
half a
maybe.
mile. Yeah, you can do it in an hour easily with kids. You can even take strollers out there, and there are replicas of animal homes, but they're child size, so the kids can climb inside of them and look at them. And that's a really
It's called the Hidden Homes Trail.
Okay.
And there is one, my favorite is the Mouse House.
Yeah.
And it is a big culvert pipe. Most people can walk in it. It's that big.
Big.
And then a mural is painted on the inside that looks like a mouse's house would look.
All right.
And my
Okay.
favorite one is the Eagle's Nest,
Oh, yes.
which has the big eggs, so it's like a giant size eagle's nest that kids can climb around in and, pretend like they're the eagle.
Right. All right, we're going to take a break. 436-ME-TV, option 11 if you want to call in. We got an open line. No phone calls yet, but you can call in and weigh in on the program. Back in just a moment.
When you're looking for Whirlpool innovation and quality, who has the answers, the selection, the price? Ventura TV Appliance. With billions in nationwide appliance buying power, more than Home Depot and Best Buy combined, we'll help you save. Our low prices on Energy Star qualified Whirlpool appliances save you energy and money and pay no interest on select models when paid in full within 12 months. Ventura TV Appliance, serving you since 1951.
Frigidaire. We introduced the first home freezer, the first pulsator agitator washer, and now we introduce the Frigidaire Orbit Clean dishwasher, designed with a unique wash arm that gives you 4 times more water coverage for a consistently better clean. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
Want to create something extraordinary? Create perfection.
When you're looking for Whirlpool innovation and quality, who has the answers, the selection, the price? Ventura TV Appliance. With billions in nationwide appliance buying power, more than Home Depot and Best Buy combined, we'll help you save. Our low prices on Energy Star qualified Whirlpool appliances save you energy and money and pay no interest on select models when paid in full within 12 months. Ventura TV Appliance, serving you since 1951.
Dozens of boats took to the San Joaquin River this weekend, but these people weren't out here to have fun. They got down and dirty, ridding the river of hundreds of tires and tons of trash.
It's really gross. It's disgusting how people just leave their tires out here.
The valley's rivers are the perfect spot to cool off on a hot day, but it takes an army to clean things up once the summer's over.
It's the end of the season. Skaggs Bridge has been used sometimes 1,500 to 2,000 people a day will come out here and use this park. all summer long.
One by one, high school and college volunteers fished out nearly 250 tires for the day. No easy feat.
We almost tipped our boat at least 5 times trying to pull one of the tires out, and there's parts of the river where it just sunk our boat so much we had to like pull it along.
I didn't imagine there could be this many tires in a river, you know? Like, how did they get here? And I'm kind of disappointed that they're here in the first place. So I'm glad that we're able to get them out.
The San Joaquin runs 333 miles and is California's second longest river. It provides water for drinking, crops, power, fishing, and other recreational activities.
People don't realize the ramifications now of throwing trash in the river. Bad things that are thrown in the river can percolate down to the water table, and we pull it back up with our drinking water.
After they're done working on this portion of the river alone, volunteers expect to collect 14 tons of trash and fill 4 large dumpsters by the end of the weekend.
It's a dirty job, but it's worth it.
All right, that tire cleanup taking place along the San Joaquin River. It wasn't last weekend, though. It was just recently. We pulled that video up just to show you some of the messes that you see there along the riverbanks and, of course, in the river, pulling all sorts of things out of that river bottom. It's amazing, Coke and Susan. And is that also part of the problem with the San Joaquin River? Is it, you know, building this parkway, the trailway, whatever you want to call it, this 11-mile stretch on either side, don't you have to kind of clean up the river too?
Well, that's a big part of it, and that's going to be an ongoing issue. But the more it's developed and the more people are down there, we'll have less of that, I think. Just the fact that there are people watching and people using the river. So as the parkway develops and finishes and, you know, gets built out, which will take years. And, you know, this is not an easy thing to do. And you see those people, I believe that was River Tree volunteers who were doing that cleanup on that video.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, there's a lot of people who volunteer literally thousands of hours on the parkway from the trust, from organizations like River Tree Volunteers and other organizations that just love the river and see the value of it for our community.
Yeah, there's a guy named Richard Sloan who is part of the board with River Tree Volunteers.
Right.
Yes, he was on the video.
He was part of your board at one time.
Actually, he wasn't on our board. He was an employee.
He was an employee,
Right.
not a part of the board, but he was an employee for the San Joaquin River Parkway Trust.
That's right.
Okay, no longer an employee, but works with River Tree Volunteers, that group, local nonprofit, and they're part of the cleanup process. But in the last few years, since 2003, they have pulled out of that river, according to Richard Sloan, some 11,000 tires.
Right. We believe
11,000 tires.
That's an issue all over the county where people dump tires, but we believe there were some tire businesses or maybe some tire businesses who are dumping the tires rather than pay the disposal fee.
Right.
So,
and the disposal fee is, do you know what it is? I don't
know, but it's not very much, but it's unfortunate. And you know, they do it at night, and
nobody sees them pull out. They just leave the scene, and boom. I mean, they could dump anything in the river.
There was an old pickup that went off the bluff. Somebody pushed it in to get rid of it. I don't know why.
Yeah, so you probably find a lot in there. And according to this article I'm reading here, there have been several campfires, endless piles of trash, plastic bags, discarded clothing, blankets, assorted junk, all hidden from plain sight. An endless pile of just discarded items, whatever you want to call it.
And that's more reason to build out the parkway and to figure out how to do the maintenance and operation, have security to keep people, to have people down there using the river so that other people, so it's not isolated and they don't go out and dump things at night.
Oh, yeah.
And that does happen all over the county. I mean, as a county supervisor,
all over the state.
Yes. Especially the rural areas, you know, where it's dark and it's just
Some
easier
of them
to do
are
that.
homeless.
Yes, there are homeless people that are camping.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up because there are a lot of homeless people now that are camping along the river. You know, the city ordinance here in Fresno, you keep up with it.
Right.
You both do. We do have a phone call here. Good morning, caller. You're on the air with our two wonderful guests here today. I'm so glad they're here, Coke Hallowell and, of course, Susan Anderson. And they're both very well known in the Fresno area. Go ahead.
Yes, John, good morning, and good morning, ladies. It's finally amazing. I've lived in Fresno since 1996, and I've heard both your names very much so in the community, but I never put a face to it, so that's wonderful to have you on. I just tuned in, and I noticed you guys are talking about the trails, and my family and I, we go out on a lot of the trails behind Woodward Park and the trails that are, I'm not sure, is that part of something that is of the River Parkway? And then my second question is the Aquarius Aquarium that's going to be built out on the other side of 99. Are you going to be involved with that in any way? I'll take my answer over the air. Thank you.
You want to answer, or shall I?
Go right ahead.
The Aquarius Aquarium has nothing to do with the Parkway. Yeah. They plan to locate on the river bottom, and that's all I know.
Okay.
But it's outside the area, the
Yes.
22 miles that we're dealing with.
That's right.
It's outside
just
of your
outside
realm.
of it, yeah.
Right.
It's outside of your realm. So,
And
so
the trails he asked about,
Yeah.
they go along through Woodward Park and down into the river bottom, and there is a loop trail that goes to the river. I've walked it many times and seen ducks and deer. And it's
really?
great. It's just great. And we were responsible for building that trail.
And if you just, to orient yourself, Woodward Park is really almost in the middle of the Fresno side of the Parkway. So
that's just a small piece of what's what's been developed, and I've been down there too. And it's utilized quite a bit, especially this time of year. I mean, you see gazillions of people down there this time of year in the spring. In the summer, it's quite hot, so you have to go early enough. But safety is also an issue. Too, if you want to build a trail, you want to make sure that some of these hidden spots and some of these secluded areas, you have some kind of security, because a lot of single people jog down in those areas. So have you thought about that?
Yes, there's been a lot of discussion about security, and that will happen as the Parkway develops more. Security will be provided by the city, probably by the county, sheriff's department, and some by the Parkway Trust or the Conservancy. It's going to be it's like putting together a puzzle, and but we will have to have some security.
Yeah.
Well, but having more people down there is really security.
Yes.
You know, if you have a single person out jogging
at 5 in the morning.
Yeah, but if you have 25 people out jogging, it's a lot safer.
Yeah, it really is. But here's the thing: American River Parkway up in Sacramento has been developed for years. In fact, I'm from Sacramento. I used to go to the American River Parkway Trail. Quite beautiful. Took a long time to get it done. Why have they gotten it done and we can't get it done?
Well, they started before we did.
When did they start? In 1920?
I don't know, but they started long before we did.
Yeah.
The property.
But you've seen it, right?
Yes.
You've seen the American River Parkway. It's beautiful.
It's a great amenity, and someday the San Joaquin River Parkway will be considered like that.
Can you tell me, is that going to be in my lifetime?
I hope so, John. I hope it's in my lifetime.
That property that the American River Parkway mostly is located on was one owner. So it was a lot.
Really?
That's what I understand.
Oh, that made it easy.
That would make it so much easier.
Yes. So it wasn't.
Yeah. You negotiate with one guy, and he got $1 gazillion for that one.
Yeah.
So when you're and before I go to break here, that is part of the problem, is that when you're dealing with multiple plots of land to try to piece 22-mile stretch going around and around, you have multiple owners that you're having to deal with. So do you have some owners that just say, you know what, I'm not selling?
Yes.
That's basic. That's part of the problem too. I'm not saying you have to.
I would say there are more people who are willing to sell than we have money to buy. So it's a willing seller, and people sort of line up, to sell their property.
So that hasn't been that much of an issue.
No, I wouldn't say that's a
You've
big
never had an
problem.
owner say, the heck, get off my property.
There are little pieces where we don't have a willing seller now. But at some point, we think they will.
And sometimes the family doesn't agree. And so part of the family says, let's sell. That'd be great. Get that money. And some family members say, no, we have to keep this forever. So.
Yeah.
And then there's the mining issue. I mean, a lot of the land out in sort of the heart of the Parkway has been mined for gravel.
Oh, yeah.
And now it's pretty much mined out. There's only a little bit of gravel left. And so the mining companies have been generous and have been supportive of the Parkway.
Yeah.
They've been very generous and very helpful.
Hang on, caller. Go ahead.
No, they've been very helpful in developing different pieces of the
That
Parkway.
land has to be redeveloped if
Right.
it's been mined on.
Yes.
You know how
it's
much money that costs?
Right.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So,
And in the old days, the mining companies didn't have to do the reclamation.
yeah.
But then now they do, and so they work with the Parkway to figure out, okay, should we move dirt here, create mounds here?
Well, don't forget, you got environmental issues.
Oh, it's
all of that.
It's very
just-
complex.
Yeah. Hey, caller, you're on the air with our wonderful guest here. Go ahead.
I just want to say these ladies are doing a great job of what they're trying to do. And I do believe that people shouldn't be owning properties along lakes and rivers. They should be... Yes, I want to congratulate these ladies. They're doing a great job. But I do believe people shouldn't own property all along lakes and rivers. It should be for everybody to enjoy it, not just certain people who has money that could have, it should be for all the citizens.
Right. Okay. All right.
I think so too.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Do you want to comment off that, Susan?
Well, we want to respect the property owner's rights, but we do want to, this land that has been purchased with taxpayer dollars for the public use, we do want that to be available to the public. And I totally agree with the gentleman that, this is an opportunity for families and children to see wildlife, to learn about nature, to be out of the city. And, it's so close to us.
Mm-hmm.
And so we do have sometimes conflicts with people who don't actually own the land that the Parkway is now part of the Parkway, but they live above it. And so, that's an ongoing fight sometimes.
Now, who are these people that live down there along the river bottom that have land there, that you're trying to purchase land from these people? Have they had this? I mean, does this land, does it go back generations?
And sometimes their home is there. There are homes down there.
But they've been there for years?
In some cases. Mm-hmm.
Maybe belong to their parents, their grandparents.
Could
so
be,
it's been
yeah.
passed down. So it's part of the family.
And we're not
they
trying
don't
to
want to move.
We're not asking people to move or vacate their homes. In many cases, we just buy an easement, just a strip along the river. So we're working. It's always been a willing seller, willing buyer situation.
Right.
So the
Nothing
Conservancy
is
isn't trying to
forced on
force.
these- yeah,
No,
nothing is
no.
forced on these people.
Right.
Right.
But the conflict comes when you have people who live up on the bluffs. So just, for instance, the River West project, which is...
I know, we're going to talk about that.
Okay, well, we can talk about that
We'll
later.
talk, because I got some video that I pulled, the River West project. I call it the Spano project,
Yes.
but
Yes.
you can call it River West. It's okay, because really the official name is the River West project, and it's very
Right.
controversial right now.
Yes.
And I do want to talk to you about that, because it does create a problem when you have these people that are living on the bluffs, but then at some point you have to be able to transport people down into the river bottom.
Right.
So how are they going to get there? Are you going to fly them in with a helicopter? I don't think so.
And that is a big issue, access to the Parkway, to the pieces of the Parkway.
Exactly. All right, our two guests today, Coke Hallowell, Susan Anderson, talking about the American River Parkway, San Joaquin River Parkway. Boy, don't we wish we were the American River Parkway, right? 436-ME-TV, option 11. Do call in and do weigh in. And another question that I think I'll pose later in the program is, what benefits do you get from a parkway, having all this land developed down there by the river, the San Joaquin River, the second longest in the entire state of California? And I'll tell you what, there's a lot of cleanup that needs to be done. Millions of dollars, that's what it'll cost to get it all done. Back in a moment.
Want to create something extraordinary? Create perfection. Our lifestyle appliances make it easy. KitchenAid, Ventura TV appliance, and you, when only the best will do.
The following is a list of celebrities you will not see on MeTV programs. Charlie Sheen, Lindsay Lohan, Snooki, Paris Hilton, Perez Hilton, Honey Boo Boo, Justin Bieber, Simon Cowell, Chris Brown, Miley Cyrus, and the Real Housewives of any place. This is who you will see on MeTV programs. Lucy, Ralph, Mary, Perry, Gilligan, Kenner, Spock, Batman, Rowdy, Festus, and the Beaver. MeTV. Thanks for watching.
Back here on the program with Coke Hallowell and Susan Anderson, and I got to ask you about this. I call it the Spano Project. You call it
River
the
West.
River West Project, which is the official name, I guess, of the project. I'm not sure.
I think so.
It is.
Yes.
That's what people know it by River West. So,
It was purchased from the Spano family.
right, originally from the Spano family. Now, who was Mr. Spano? Who was he? Was he the original owner of this land that we're about to talk about here?
Yes, and he wanted to develop it. I believe there were plans to build 1,100 houses on that property.
Stan Spano. He
Yes.
wanted to build about 11 years ago. He wanted to build all these homes down there.
Yes.
And what stopped him?
The Parkway Trust got a grant from the Packard Foundation and were able to purchase it from Mr. Spano, who was very agreeable to sell because a lot of people in the community had voiced their objection to a big development down there.
Okay, I want to roll a piece of videotape. We'll talk over it, and let's go. This piece of property is located along Highway 41, Palm and Knees. It's the Palm and Knees GoPro video. We're going to catch this piece of land, this piece of property from the air. There it is right there. So Susan, pick it up right here. The problem is this is not developed yet. Who owns
Right.
this property, number one, right now? Still, is it Spano? And number two, the controversy is if you develop this land out here, nearby neighbors are complaining about the access getting to it. Go ahead and pick it up.
Yeah, so this is a large piece of property. It's between 400 and 500 acres, the whole thing.
Wow.
And it was purchased in pieces, and I think the purchase was completed in about 2003. So
Who
about
owns it now?
The Conservancy.
Okay, the Conservancy owns it. They
Yes.
purchased it from Stan Spano. Am I right
And
about
there's
that?
other pieces, I believe, from other property
From
owners.
other property
Yeah.
owners, all
The
told
whole
about
thing.
500 acres.
Yeah, between 400 and 500. I don't know the exact number, but closer
Okay,
to
so
500.
So the issue is?
So the issue is access. So this is, if you're, in Woodward Park and you're looking towards the river, towards Madera, this will be to your left. It's really the piece of property between Woodward Park and Palm.
Okay.
That's the strip of the Parkway, and it would add 2 miles to the Eaton Trail. So the Eaton Trail is 6 miles now from the River Ranch House
That's
to
a good look right there, by
to
the way.
Woodward Park.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
go
really beautiful, and this would add 2 more miles to the Eaton Trail going towards 99. Past 41 towards 99. So the
who's
issue
complaining?
is how do you get people down there? Where do people park? It's a big piece of the Parkway, so you could have large, picnic groups going down there, people accessing the river. It's beautiful space right next to the river. It's pretty flat, so the issue is how do people get through there? So the people who are concerned, and we appreciate their concerns, are the people who live on the bluffs. Very nice homes on the bluffs. Just would be west of Woodward Park.
Okay.
So because there was an EIR, an environmental impact report done, and it was finished earlier this year, that said the best way, the most feasible way for people to access that area, to have a road that would go down there, and then there would be a parking lot down below the bluffs, would be through that neighborhood. And so the people who live there don't want people driving through the neighborhood. Now these are public roads, but they don't want a lot of cars driving through their
And that's
neighborhood.
the only way to get to it, to access
That's
that property?
That's the best way.
It's the
according
easiest
to
way.
according to the report. So once that came out as the number one way, the best way to get down there, the Conservancy has to approve that report by the end of the year, or everything expires, and the contracts with the consultants
actually
expire.
came out with that determination that it was the best access?
We're consultants. that were hired by
outside
the Conservancy.
consultants
Yes.
that were hired by the Conservancy. So that was their recommendation. I want
Right.
to,
The
Carrie,
Conservancy is the
run that
lead.
piece of video again, that GoPro video, because it's an interesting piece of property. It's located in a prime area.
It's prime, yeah.
It is prime.
Mhm.
So these consultants said that the
best way.
not the only way, but the best way
Mhm.
is through this one access area that when you're driving through these neighborhoods.
Which would be sort of directly down into the big area where
Right.
you would have the picnic spaces and
you're driving by all these
access
beautiful
to the
homes
trails.
along the bluffs.
Well, you
and
would
the
drive.
neighbors don't want that.
You would drive through a couple blocks, and then you would be on this new private road that would take you down to a parking lot.
It's a public road
It's a
to
public road.
property.
Right. And it was paid for by taxpayers. But, if you're living in a big house on the bluffs
You don't want that.
and you're overlooking this beautiful Parkway area,
And then you look out your window and you see all these cars going by. You go, what is
and
that?
and people down there picnicking with their families and
Yeah.
putting their canoes in or whatever.
But it's the traffic going by too.
It's the traffic, yeah.
That's the only objection, I think.
Yeah.
Is the traffic, not just people, picnicking and having
No,
a good
because
time.
it's quite a ways down.
Yeah.
So a big picnic with music, I don't think would disturb.
No,
me
you wouldn't.
hardly.
Yeah, it would be pretty far away. But it's just getting down there. So
That's the problem.
they would like to have a trail down there so they could walk down there from their homes.
All right.
And I mean, there's a lot of different theories on this and a lot of different interests. So if we don't have the road down there, then people will be parking in front of their homes and then walking down there.
And that's what's happening now.
Yeah.
People are parking all
So-
in their neighborhood.
Yeah, so is there a meeting going on today with the Conservancy that you know of? Some kind of a meeting with Richard Sloan, this guy from the River Tree Volunteers. He said he was meeting, and I talked to him the other day, but he wasn't too specific about who he was meeting with about this very issue with the River Park or the River West project, about these consultants that came up with this, obviously this determination that was the best access to get to that project. It hasn't been developed yet. Now keep in mind out there, 436 MeTV option 11, and have an open phone line.
So just to clarify too, so the people who live in these homes on the bluff that don't want the access through their neighborhood on a public road,
Yeah.
they have proposed that the access be at Palm.
Okay.
And that access point was studied in the EIR, and it was determined to be not feasible because of. Do you want to talk about that?
Because of the expense. I believe it brings the price up to $5.2 million.
Oh.
Because it's a very steep, dangerous road. It would have to be completely
Revamped.
redone,
Yeah.
revamped.
Mhm.
And also there is some other issues like the
easement.
Right, and I'm trying to think of the word for the bad stuff from the ground, the garbage.
Oh, a landfill. There's a landfill there.
A couple of landfills.
And there's also flood control issues.
Right, so it's a very tortured.
Yeah.
And there's also an easement on that.
Hang on, caller.
There's also an easement on that road area that says if there's access here, the same access has to be at the point through the neighborhood. There's a legal easement.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's very complicated and complex.
Everything is convoluted.
Yes.
It just is go ahead.
I don't know how that happened in the beginning, do you?
No, but I don't
But
know
it's
either.
in place and it's
It's
law.
amazing. So quickly, caller, I'll get to you in a moment. How is this going to be resolved? You have these homeowners that don't want this. You've got the Conservancy. They hired the consultant. They said, no, this is the best way. You got this Richard Sloan. That's apparently he's against this proposed route. He's siding with, I guess, the neighbors. How is this going to be resolved without going to court? It sounds like this thing may go to court.
Well, the Conservancy will have to vote on this EIR by the end of the year. So they will either vote to approve it.
Yeah. If they do approve it and these neighbors are upset about it,
It could go to court.
It could go
Yes,
to court.
could go to court. And if they don't vote to approve it, then we have to start all over and spend more money. And
For studies.
the city came sort of at the last hour recently, like this summer,
Right.
and volunteered to study this Palm and Knees project. Yeah. So that's what's happening right now.
When is the next meeting of the Conservancy? Do you remember?
I don't know.
In a few weeks.
Yeah, it meets every month.
It could be that Richard Sloan, and he wasn't specific about who he was meeting with, even though I asked him. He could be meeting with some of these homeowners too, to get their viewpoint. But
there have been a lot of meetings. I mean, we've met with the homeowners.
Yeah.
There have been a lot of meetings and a lot of discussion.
Caller, you're on the air with our two guests. Go ahead. What's your question? What's your comment?
Yeah, let me ask both of your guests. The solution is like, the owners of the bluff, okay, they have nice homes on that, and they don't want traffic to go through there. Well, why can't they find a way where they can park before they get there and take buses? If they don't want all these cars, take some buses filled with people that park the cars away from the bluff, or some way where they can park and get into the buses, go through the residentials and charge. I mean, if they're going to be arguing about all this traffic and all that, if they were smart, get the homeowner, say, we'll give you a percentage of, for going through or whatever, because all they're going to do is drag it, okay? The homeowners don't want it, and the whole issue is getting to it. So if they would get smart, they would say, well, we all agree to this. If we charge this, and the owners would be happy because they're going to get a percentage of that. That would be my solution. But I'm just a nobody. But it'd be rather than going to court. Thank you.
Okay, thank you much.
Well, these roads are public, so the public has already been charged for the roads. It's called taxes.
Yeah.
And so these roads are public, so the owners can't charge you to drive on a public road. They don't own the road. And they would drive through the neighborhood and park down below the homes, far away from the homes.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact distance, but I mean, there are drawings, and you could see, they would be down on the river bottom.
But the problem is, like the caller suggested, if you had people park in some area, let's say they build an area, and they take buses down there. I mean, instead of cars driving by these expensive homes, now you'd have buses.
Right, and who's going to pay
for
that?
More noise, more pollution, and who's going to pay for it?
Yeah, and this is a public parkway. It's owned by the taxpayers have paid for this. So why should they have to pay to take a bus to go to a public parkway on a public road?
Right.
You should be able to drive your car there and take your family. You're going to go have a family picnic, or you're going to go hiking, or take your bicycle, down, ride your bike down. You should
What's
be able to
the
do
answer, Coke? Do you have an answer? How are you going to satisfy these homeowners?
I don't know. It's going to take a lot of meetings, which we're already doing, and a lot of compromise and courage. Courage and compromise.
Courage, yes. It's very political, and it's sort of power-based, too. I mean, there are people who live on the bluffs who have a lot of political power in this community. So, it's politics and power and strategy and, complicated.
Before I go to break, I want to show another piece of videotape. It's a short one. It's below the Spano Park project. It's here in Fresno. It's a very short one. It's got no sound. We'll talk over it. We'll see what the river bottom kind of looks like down there and what they're talking about developing to a certain extent. And the problem is not developing this area, but getting access to it once you do develop it. Am I right about that? This is the river bottom itself, just below the Spano project. Let's take a call here while we're taking a look at this, Susan. Beautiful, huh?
It is
down
beautiful.
there?
Yeah.
Caller, hang on.
Oh, we're trying to create trails, have restrooms, parking lots, that kind. When we talk about developing the parkway, that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about, we're really talking about making it available so people can enjoy the beautiful natural river.
Yeah, obviously very controversial. Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, to the lady there, and she was talking about who would pay for, let's say, like the cost of a tram to go take people down to the bottom there and so forth. But because it's the people who own it, right? But we pay for things that we want to do already. I mean, we pay for public busing. We pay to get into Woodward Park. We pay $5 to get into Woodward Park. We pay $5 to get into Roding Park. So we're already doing that already. So I don't see what the big deal is to pay, to have $5 to pay to go down into that Conservancy Park in order to help maintain that area. I mean, we do it already. You know, if you want to maintain Woodward Park, if you want to enjoy Woodward Park as a public citizen, you have to pay $5 to get in there.
Yeah.
So we're doing it already, you know, so I don't see the problem. And then when you talk about making more trails and so forth, well, then more trails, and then I used to work for the National Park Service, more trails means you're just going to be tearing up the land even more, and it's not going to be the same as it was when it first started out. So, you know, I mean, if you have one nice trail going down through there, then that's really one nice trail, then you can always branch off. But to create more trails is to actually gain access to the area, and then more access to actually tear it up. You know, 'cause, I mean, I go down there all the time and volunteer my time to go down there on kayaks and so forth to help take out garbage from the river, and you know, and there's tons of garbage all the time. You know, so imagine opening it up even more to the public.
Yeah.
I think it'd be more garbage down there.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions?
I would just like to say, as a conservancy, doesn't the word conservancy mean you want to kind of protect that area and keep it, you know, as is? I mean, you know, the way it was, as you know, so that people can enjoy it in the future. I mean, to say you want to,
okay.
You know, I mean,
well, they're not
I would
part of
want
the
to
Conservancy. They're part of the American River. I keep saying American.
Yeah, American River. We're in the wrong area there, John.
I know. San Joaquin River Parkway Trust, and so they're part of the San Joaquin River Parkway. They're not part of the Conservancy. Two different organizations.
But we partner
Right.
with the Conservancy. We have an important partnership with them, and our goal is really the same.
Right.
To create this public parkway so people can access to protect the habitat.
Land that's along the river there. I mean, to try and expand the Conservancy and the Parkway. Do you try and purchase more land in order to conserve that land?
Yes, that's one of the goals, is to purchase enough land so we have an 11-mile parkway, 22-mile total, 11 miles on each side of the river.
Oh, okay. So it's going to be 11 miles each side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how is that new housing project that's going to open up on the Madera County side going to affect the Conservancy and its program?
Well, it's not very close to the river, and I can't see how it would affect it, except a lot more people might visit the river and enjoy it.
Right. But then that's going to mean a lot more maintenance of that area, then, wouldn't you say? And again, that's going to be, a cost. Going to be a cost thing that's going to. They have to pay money to maintain that area and then keep it, conserve it and keep it in pristine. So the more population you get down there to enjoy it, the more maintenance it's going to take to keep it up.
Of course, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So then, how do you pay for that?
Well,
there's your question again. It keeps coming back to cost. You want to buy land, that's going to cost money. You want people to enjoy it, but in order to maintain it, that's going to cost money as well.
Well, the Conservancy receives state parks bond money to buy the land, and they've spent millions of dollars.
Thanks, caller.
Which is taxpayer money to buy this land for the public's benefit. So that's happening, and continues to happen.
Always vote for the park bonds, the state park bonds.
Yeah.
Now, the River West Park project that we're talking about, Palm and Knees, what comes first? Before that land is developed, before that land can be developed, before you decide what you're going to do with it, doesn't this issue of access to it have to be resolved first?
Yeah, the plans have to be approved, and the access, and the environmental.
Because they go hand in hand.
Right.
The access and the project.
I mean, we don't
itself.
even know where we're going to build the road, the parking lots. We have to know that, and then the Conservancy will do that, and that's the money they have set aside to do that. Right. But they're getting pushback, so they were hoping to build this access road through this neighborhood, but now they're getting pushback, so they're waiting to see what the Conservancy, how they're going to vote by the end of the year.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a quick break. Our final one, 436 MeTV option 11. Back in a moment.
The new Frigidaire Professional line at Ventura TV Video Appliance. Enjoy generous-sized cooktops and sauté or simmer with ease, while true convection ovens offer even baking and juicy roasting perfection. Foods stay their freshest in spacious refrigerators with convenient controls and clear filtered ice and water. Easy to clean surfaces reduce fingerprints, and the quietest of dishwashers makes cleanup a snap. The new Frigidaire Professional line at Ventura TV Video Appliance. When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Whirlpool appliances we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start, but you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Touch the new Whirlpool Ice Collection. It offers a modern style made to create an inspiring kitchen experience. Save big on this Whirlpool Black Ice or White Ice kitchen. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
So how would the city of Fresno County, Madera County, how would the people living in those two counties benefit from having a 22-mile stretch that's developed, a piece of property at Palm and East that's developed? How are we going to benefit? What's in it for us?
A wonderful place to visit, a place to take your visitors from out of town to show them this wonderful river.
Mm-hmm.
And also to fish, canoe, kayak, and swim.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a big park in their backyard.
It's the same way that we benefit from parks in the community. It's a place to go, be outside with your family, except this is more of a natural park. And it's a linear park.
Would you be able to camp overnight in some of these places?
You can camp at the county park. There are some camping places there.
A brand new camping place at Lost Lake Park.
Right, up by Friant.
By Friant.
Okay.
I went to the grand opening. They spent more than $1 million to improve it and clean it up, and it was beautiful. I was very proud of that county.
And people use it.
How would you encourage people to get involved? Do you have a website?
Absolutely.
Do you have an email, a Facebook? What do you have here? Either one of you, it's okay. Go ahead.
riverparkway.org. And everything is there. Everything about our work and our hopes.
All the information is there.
Yes, it is.
And the Conservancy has a public meeting, and it's at the flood control office out sort of near the airport.
Are those public meetings, the dates and times, are they publicized?
Yes, they're publicized. So if you Google the San Joaquin River Parkway Conservancy.
Okay.
And I would encourage people to attend those meetings. The Conservancy is made up of supervisors from Fresno County and Madera County, council member from the city of Fresno, public members, and state agency representatives.
What city council member? Do you know? You remember?
It's Steve Brandow.
Brandow's a part of that. Okay.
And Andreas Borges.
Okay. Borges, which is a Fresno County supervisor,
right.
Obviously.
And that's sort of the political piece that we're experiencing.
Okay. And are they both in favor of developing this parkway?
They say they are.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they are not supporting the access through the neighborhood. They're supporting studying the other access point that has already been studied.
Right.
And
so they don't go along with the Conservancy, the consultants that...
They're on the Conservancy. They're voting members of the Conservancy.
I know, but the consultants that they hired came up with this recommendation. They don't agree. You're talking about Borges and Branda don't agree with the access point.
I think they both agree that they want to have public access.
But not in that spot.
Right.
Because they side with the neighbors?
And they brought the city in to do this study at the last hour, basically, which has sort of, I think, created a major problem.
Yeah.
So
well, the neighbors are creating a major problem, I think, too. So.
And these are their constituents.
Yeah.
And they're both have, interest in running for different office. And so, that's the political piece of it.
Well, you're a former supervisor.
Yes,
I know
am.
how it works.
I ran for office 6 times. I was elected 6 times.
I know. So you know very well how it goes.
Yes.
And, listen, we're out of time, but come back again. I hope you guys can come back. And,
thank you, John, for having us. And thanks for your interest in this.
Are great. And we're grateful that you ladies took the time to come here. Coke, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, John.
Susan, it's good to see you.
It's good seeing you again.
All right, good to see you, and we'll see you again soon, I hope.
I hope so, too.
All right,
thank
you. Coke Hallowell and Susan Anderson talking about the San Joaquin River Parkway. Will it ever get developed? We'll see what happens, too, with that Spano project. See you back here tomorrow with Ruthie Quinto talking about a possible strike at Fresno Unified School District. Have a good day.